Everyone is talking about the biggest housing bill in 30 years. But here's the question. Will it actually make sense for home buyers and make it more affordable, or is it just another headline?
I don't know, Pete. I mean, so some buyers are totally thinking about putting their home search on hold because of this bill. And some sellers think values are about to change overnight. But the truth is, I really honestly think that most people's decisions, are based on things that they haven't read or what's actually in the bill itself.
Yeah, and today we're cutting through politics, ignoring all the headlines, and talking about what actually means for buyers and sellers right now in New Jersey. Welcome back to another episode of the Unify Real Estate Podcast. I'm Peter, and we have Sharif here with us. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Every week, we bring you particular conversations about real estate, business, investing, mindset, and everything happening in today's housing market. No politics, no fear, no hype, just real conversations that will help you make smarter decisions. So, whether you're a buyer, a seller, or an investor, or just another real estate professional, today's episode is one you're going to want to hear because everyone seems to have an opinion about this new housing bill, and very few people actually understand it. So, everywhere you look right now, you're going to see it between the news station, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everyone is talking about the biggest housing bill in 30 years. That immediately gets people attention. Whenever Washington says they're fixing housing, everyone assumes everything is about to change.
I know, and it's crazy too. It's like every time something happens in Washington, my phone blows up, right? It's like people saying, should we wait? Will prices fall? Will rates improve? Should I hold off on selling? I mean, these are all fair questions, but the problem is people are asking those questions just based on the headlines and not the facts, right? And that's the most dangerous. Buying and selling is one of the biggest financial decisions most people ever make. And headlines should not be driving those decisions. The facts should be driving decisions. And that's something we want to talk about today.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do today. Forget politics, forget opinions. Let's just talk about what the reality is. So here's what surprised me, Sharif. Most people think the bill is immediately going to help buyers. It really doesn't. It's not another stimulus check. It's not a free down payment assistance and isn't going to be a lower mortgage rate. It's something much bigger and but it's going to happen much more slower.
I know that's really it. It's not really something that's going to happen, overnight. This is something that is geared towards the future. This bill is really focused on one thing, and it's the one thing that's really affecting the market right now, and that's inventory. So what it's doing, it's creating more housing supply because the truth is we've been underbuilding homes for years right now. The U.S. is estimated to be millions of homes short of what's needed to meet the demand currently. And that shortage didn't happen overnight. So what we need to understand is it can't be solved overnight, right? This is something that's been happening for years and it's going to take years to actually fix it. And this legislation is designed to encourage, cities to streamline permitting, support higher density where appropriate, and make it easier to build things like ADUs, duplexes, and townhomes over time. That's really the long-term focus of the bill itself.
Yeah, that's very important. People hear housing bill and they think prices immediately going to change. And the problem is like housing and real estate doesn't work like that. Construction takes years, permits take years, infrastructure takes years, right? And that's all about to change in the future, but it's not going to happen next month.
I mean, that's so true. And let's kind of just break it down and let's talk about why housing became so expensive in the first place. And most people are blaming the interest rates, but that's not really it. Some are blaming investors, others blame inflation. Those all play a role, but really the biggest issue, like I had just mentioned, is supply. It's all about supply and demand, right? So we simply haven't built enough homes. Really, after the market crashed in 2008, I mean, it got desolate, right? That's really where this started is because the builders disappeared because we went through a big financial crisis with mortgages. I remember sitting at like the closing table and loans being denied during 2008. And the banks stopped lending like overnight. It was crazy. So developments were being canceled where builders were actually building those, communities. The construction slowed down dramatically. And meanwhile, the population just kept growing. Families kept forming. People keep needing homes. So demand went up. And that's just basic economics. And I talk about it all the time. It's that supply demand graph that you learned back in school. And when demand grows faster than supply, the price rises, right? So if you remember that graph, if you have high demand and low supply, that shoots the prices up. So that's the basics of why we have higher prices today. It's a simple supply demand situation that we've all learned in basic economics.
That's exactly it, Sharif. I mean, I haven't been in a business as much as you have. So I wasn't licensed in 2008, so I don't know anything about that. But what I remember is COVID, right? And people think that this whole thing started during COVID, and it didn't. COVID simply just exposed a problem that had already been building for more than a decade, right? And right now, it's probably the biggest headline. Like this bill that's passing right now is the biggest headline, and it's the large institutional investors that would be restricted from buying additional single family homes. And it sounds huge, right?
It is. And in certain markets, it's going to be huge. Places where hedge funds, own entire neighborhoods, places like Atlanta, Phoenix, and Vegas that I can think of right off top of my head. But there are areas where institutional ownership became significant. But here in New Jersey, that's usually not who you're competing against, right? Most buyers lose homes to another family, right? Another couple, someone relocating, someone downsizing, someone paying cash, not really to Wall Street buyers. So while this is an interesting part of the bill, it's probably not the biggest factor affecting us in our local market hyperly. This is affecting other markets where we're seeing a lot more institutional buyers, but it is part of the bill. And the content plan even points out that this provision has a very different impacts depending on the local market and is less significant in markets driven primarily by owner occupants like we have in our market here. So, although it does address institutional buyers, which I believe it was like, anyone that owns over 300 homes is considered an institutional buyer. I don't see that affecting us locally because I don't think that's what buyers are competing against in those multiple offer situations hyper locally here in New Jersey.
Gotcha. So let's talk a little bit more about our local market because that's really what matters for agents that are listening to this podcast in New Jersey or buyers and sellers in New Jersey. So if I'm buying a home in Mercer County, Middlesex County, Monmouth, Ocean, what's going to change tomorrow, Sharif?
I mean, honestly, Peter, very little is going to change right off the bat, right? Inventory is still limited. Homes that are priced correctly still receive strong interest, right? And well prepared listings still sell and they sell quickly. Good buyers still compete. That's because real estate has always been local. It's a local thing. Even though there's headlines that are national, it's always coming down to a local level. And the bill could encourage more housing over the next coming years if local municipalities adopt changes to zoning and permitting. But those effects won't happen overnight.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, I love playing games. Let's play a little game, Sharif, myth or reality. So, myth, this bill will make homes cheaper next month.
That's definitely a myth. I mean, housing markets don't move that quickly.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And let's see, the bill gives buyers free money.
Oh, this is not a grant. This is not a stimulus. That's a myth. I mean, there isn't an immediate buyer payment waiting because of this legislation, right? You're not going to get free money out of the thin air. And the emphasis is on long term housing supply. And that's what we need to focus on. This is not an immediate fix. So if this bill goes through and we're able to actually, condense the process of permitting and things of that nature, that should increase supply over the long term.
So you think this is gonna fix the housing shortage, Sharif? I mean, I know it's very limited here in New Jersey, and I know we're talking about locally, but what about so let's talk locally and let's talk nationally.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, hopefully it helps, right? Immediately, definitely no changes.
Yeah. So do you think people should be waiting before buying until inventory starts rising?
Absolutely not. I mean, you got to buy when you're financially ready, right? Not because of headlines. You know when the best day was to buy something? Yesterday. It's always going to be yesterday. Okay. So just remember that, people. You want to advise people just because this bill is in the works, these changes are not happening overnight, right? And the best time to buy is always going to be now.
I agree. I agree. And I was one of those buyers too, and was bidding on homes, around 2020, 2021. And I thought, I got outbid and I was like, man, like I'm looking at them now and those homes are like three, $400,000 more. I was like, I should have increased my offer a little bit more at that point.
Increased
And
your offer. You should have bought every damn house you freaking
yeah,
interacted with.
it's true. So true. But it's the part like that, because obviously we went through it ourselves and nobody can know what the future holds. But one of the things that I learned, and I also to communicate this with our buyers too, is that if you plan on living in the house for 5 to 7 years, you'll be fine. Like even if there was a market crash, it's not gonna it's not gonna happen overnight. And over the long term, if this is gonna be something you're gonna hold for a while and you're gonna live in, you're gonna be fine. And like you said earlier, the biggest thing that you got to worry about is being financially ready.
Yep, definitely.
So should sellers panic, Sharif, about this whole thing?
I don't think the seller should panic. Definitely not, right? And no matter what, with changes, there's always opportunity, and every market's going to have opportunities. So don't think about this just generally speaking, like every situation is going to be affected. So there's always going to be opportunity for sellers out.
Yeah, I got this question last week, and people were asking me, "Hey, should I wait 6 months?" How would you answer that?
I don't know, maybe not. And really, the better question is what changes in 6 months? If rates improve, great. If prices increase, not great. If inventory gets tighter, not great as well. Nobody knows. So instead of trying to predict the market, let's prepare for it. Know your budget, know your market, know your options. That's a much better strategy, I think.
I agree. And do you think prices will crash at any given point in the future?
I mean, honestly, people have been predicting that for years. Instead, we've seen inventory stay low. And when inventory stays low, prices generally remain supported, if not increase. And although we've been hearing about it for years now that we're in a bubble, this isn't a bubble, people. This is the actual conditions that were a direct result of a financial crash in 2008 when builders stopped building and now inventory is at an all time low. That is point blank what it comes down to.
So if I'm buying today and I'm getting fully approved, understanding my payment and finding the right home and making a decision based on my life circumstances, not based on social media or whatever the headlines are, what what are we gonna do?
I get it. If I'm selling, I'm pricing a home correctly, right? Preparing my home, marketing aggressively, and taking advantage of today's buyers. Waiting for the perfect market usually means missing the market that you're in today and you're not capitalizing on the opportunity.
Yeah, sort of true. And here's something I've learned after years in this business. Every year there's another headline. Sometimes every other month there's another headline, right? There's another prediction, another crisis, another opportunity. Market changes and real estate changes a lot. Lows change, rates change. And but the thing is, life does not stop. People still get married, families grow, jobs change, kids are born, parents retire, people move, and real estate just continues, right?
That's so true. And the people who really build wealth through real estate usually aren't the ones who perfectly time the market. They're the ones who made smart decisions. They stayed consistent and focused on the long game. And that's key.
So, what's the biggest takeaway today, guys? Don't let the headlines make decisions for you. Understand them, learn from them, but do not panic because of them.
Nope. I mean, this bill could absolutely have an impact on housing over the next several years. More supply would benefit everyone. But if you're making decisions this month, focus on your local market, focus on your finances, focus on your family, focus on your goals. And that's what truly matters most.
So true. Couldn't agree more, Sharif. Well, this has been very helpful. As helpful for me, as I'm sure is going to be helpful for a lot of people that are listening to this. And guys, if you found this podcast available, this episode valuable, do us a favor, like this episode, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who's asking whether or not they should buy, sell, or wait.
Seriously. And if you have questions about what it means for your specific situation here in New Jersey, reach out to us. I mean, we're always happy to have a conversation. And thank you guys for spending some time with us today. We'll see you on the next episode.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.